Hello kids, it's me again, back with another video. Fun fact about me, I love The Sims. However, if you followed me for any amount of time, you been knew that. So of course, I'm making another video about it. Today, I wanted to do a fun speed build of a house in The Sims, but not just any speed build, but one based off of a real blueprint and potentially, if anyone had it built, a real house. This was something I used to do back in the DZ and I haven't done it in a while, so I thought it would be fun to walk through the process here. So I headed over to my tried and true site, houseplans.com, not sponsored, to find the perfect house to make in The Sims. I looked through a lot of blueprints, but eventually settled on this one. It's a funky little lodge-esque house that looked simple enough, but could still turn out well. After that, I got to work. Before we get to the footage though, I would like to say that I originally wanted to do this in The Sims 2. However, looking at the rendering of the house on houseplans.com, I figured it would turn out the best in The Sims 4, which, despite its many flaws, has a lot of great build tools. So, onto the time-lapse. First, the shell of the house. Initially, I tried to use the house's actual measurements for my Sims house, but once I placed the rooms down, I realized it was entirely too big. The Sims 2 gives you actual room dimensions when you use the room tool. The Sims 4 does not, which I find kinda annoying, so I just kinda had to estimate how big each room would be. The lot that I built this on ended up having a lot of empty space because I miscalculated how big the house would be, but I think in the end I used it well. The biggest issue I ran into was the roof. In the rendering, this house has a cool open roof in the front, but unfortunately with Vanilla Sims 4 there isn't a way to emulate that I'm aware of anyway, which is a big bummer. Roof limitations actually prevented me from building a different blueprint that was an A-frame house that looked really cool. Again, there is probably a way to accomplish this vanilla or modded, I just didn't look them up prior to building. But if there is, let me know, because I'm curious. Aside from the roof, it was smooth sailing. I had to modify the rooms a bit because I got a touch confused by the floor plan, and I forgot that the secret bookcase door was only in The Sims 2, but after just under an hour, the bones of the home were done. After that, I was gonna call it quits, but I just can't leave a house unfurnished, so the next day I lived my interior designer fantasy and got to work. There was only one interior render for the floor plan that I chose, but the vibe I got from it was modern, bougie, alpine retreat, so I went off that, starting with the kitchen. Building is quite fun in The Sims 4, but decorating? Not so much. Generally, I just find there to be a lack of variety in vanilla furniture in the game, so a lot of the time I end up using the same furniture over and over. For instance, the counters I used. I feel like every other kitchen I've decorated for my Sims has used them. I mean, they're cool, but I would like some variety, you know? Finding a dining table was hard too because I was just looking for a basic 3-tile wooden table, and the ones available just weren't cutting it. The vastness of the living/dining area became a problem when trying to fill it with things. I mean, realistically, how many sofas does one put in their homes, you know? Either way, I was happy to find a wood-burning stove like the one in the rendering, so I'll say I'm quite satisfied with how it turned out. Midway working on the living area, I was absolutely astonished to find out The Sims 4 now had actual water terrain tools, so much so that I tweeted about it. Back in my day, we had to build pools and pretend they were ponds. Since I haven't played The Sims 4 in a while, like maybe over a year now, I don't know if this water is fishable or swimmable, but I sure hope so. The floor plan has one bottom floor room listed as utility room, which I took to mean a laundry room, and I go crazy for laundry rooms for some reason. It makes a house feel more alive, I think. People live here, and they get smelly sometimes, and they have to wash their clothes. Next was the bedrooms. Since I envisioned this as being some rich person's vacation house, or maybe a really expensive Airbnb, I wanted them to look kind of like a hotel room, devoid of personality and ready to be slept in. Similarly, I wanted the bathrooms to be spacious, clean, and luxuriant. Somewhere to wash all the smoke off after sitting around a bonfire. Random question, but do you guys have rugs or towels in front of your tubs and showers? I've been in houses where they didn't, and stayed at a house where I slipped and fell going to the bathroom because someone just got out of the shower and there was nothing there. Anyway, onto the upstairs. It's more or less the same as the downstairs bedroom and bathroom, but since it's more spacious and has the balcony, I made it the master bedroom. Since the balcony is small, I just gave it a chair and a plant. For the final room of the house, I wanted to make it a kind of hidden speakeasy, hence me searching in vain for the fake bookcase door, so I gave it a smoky bar vibe with a card table and vintage-looking wall art. Now that the inside is done, it's time to go outside. The porch was kind of big and I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just plonked some benches there. The yard, of course, had to have a grilling area. And for the foliage, I was going for an alpine retreat vibe, so obviously lots of pine trees. I kind of don't know what I'm doing when it comes to yards, so a lot of the time I just put trees and bushes everywhere and hope for the best, which is kind of what I did here. Next, I took full advantage of the new water terrain tool and made a little pond and tried my best to surround it with lots of foliage and finished it off with some terrain paint. I made a little hidden area in one corner of the yard with a bench, some lights, and a little birdhouse and bird bath. And now, we're done. Let's do a walkthrough of the house. Well, wasn't that a fun experiment? Yeah, maybe it ended up not looking very much like the render, but I still like how it turned out. By the way, you can have this very own house for your bougie Sims to live in. It, along with many more of my builds, is on the gallery under the username simplyvictoriax. It's completely CC free but uses these packs. If you do end up downloading it, let me know what you think. That's it for today's video. Do you want to see more narrated speed builds? I'm totally down to do more, by the way. Follow me on Twitter, donate to my Ko-fi, read my Medium articles, and listen to my podcast, Not Just Arin. We're already up to 6 whole juicy episodes. We don't talk about The Sims, not yet anyway, but I still think it's a swell program. Anyway, I'm gonna go stare wistfully at my old Sims 4 screenshots and wonder sadly to myself why the game isn't fun anymore. Thanks for watching!